Good evening, welcome to the Longlands Club and the Monday Night Club here on Boro Fan TV. I'm James Hutchinson, joined tonight by Guesty and AJT. Welcome to the show, lads.
Well, go on.
Are you alright?
Yes, good, thanks.
So, it's been a great week. The Mighty Reds have moved to the top of the Championship and have 2 home games this week to enforce their advantage at the top of the table. Let us know, Boro fans, what's impressed you at Hillsborough on Friday night and what's needed from this week's encounters. Also, after Eddie Jones called up Adam Clayton for the Autumn Internationals at Twickenham, following his fantastic rucking and mauling in the closing seconds of the game at Hillsborough, what other sports or activities do you think Boro players could be good at or excel at? Get in touch with us tonight, let us know.
American football for me.
American football, name your player. Who's that?
Adam Clayton. Same. Well, he could do a job there though, couldn't he?
He probably could, yeah.
So, are you allowed to pass the ball backwards in that game, like?
Yeah, you can do. Yeah.
Get him in. Get him in.
Let us know, Boro fans, any sports activities that you think Boro players, any Boro players would excel in. Just let us know tonight. Get in touch with us. You know the drill. Get in touch with us on YouTube, and we'll read out the best comments that we get in, guys. Okay. So back to Friday, AJ. Before the game, much was made in the build-up by Tony Pulis about 10 first-team squad members being involved in international duty. Do you think that was a valid concern, or do you think it was maybe trying to lull Sheffield Wednesday into a false sense of security?
I think, you see it quite a lot, don't you, when you go into a game and you see a manager say, oh, this is I know about certain players. Is it to throw the other team off, maybe, you know what I'm saying? But when he said about the 10 changes, when I broke it down, I thought to myself, well, how many of our 11 that played on Friday actually went away? Because I thought, well, IR never went away, Clayton never went away. When I broke it down, I thought, well, it wasn't that many of our first team that played that went away, so do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What worried me was, in Pulis' press conference, and I touched on it over the weekend, was when he said we've only had the players back for a day, it makes it sound as if they've never met each other. Do you know what I mean? All right, and there was this guy coming in. And that was a big concern. And whether he was trying to get his excuses in early, I don't know. But
maybe, yeah. I mean, I know there was like 2 tough games travelling for some of the players, but not for all of them. And maybe it was to protect themselves after the performance at Norwich after the last international break, which was poor, wasn't it, at Norwich? But like I say, apparently he's written a letter now, Tony Pulis, to the EFL about...
Yeah, I think he's got other clubs to... countersign or send their own, do you know what I mean?
So it's obviously something he feels strongly about.
It is wrong though, isn't it? I think it is wrong. I think he does have a point there about if he did only have one day with certain individuals, it is wrong. We have to go over again.
I don't get that.
No, I don't get it.
They all know, they've all been there a while now, and they all know his system. They all
philosophy,
they all know what fitness levels he wants. So I can't see any of them allowing themselves to go off the rails while they're away. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So.
Oh, well, something else we'll touch upon in the show. So onto the fixture itself, he actually made 3 changes from the team that played against Forest. 2 of the internationals were left out, Braithwaite and Saville, along with Hugel. They were replaced by Fry, Besic and Assombalonga. First half was a little bit predictable. I think we had 1 effort on goal by Besic towards the end of the half. Do you think the plan in the first half of the game, Guesty, was to maybe stifle Sheffield Wednesday and take the crowd out of the equation a bit, do you think?
Yeah, it certainly looked that way the second half. But that team, I think it was the same team he started against Leeds with. So whether he was expecting some Sheffield Wednesday were going to produce some what Leeds could produce, I don't know. But like you say, the first half was... It wasn't as bad as anything that we played against Forest. No. Do you know what I mean?
It was pretty low on goal-mouth entertainment and stuff like that. It was a bit cagey, wasn't it, to be honest?
It wasn't as hard to watch as some performances. You know what I mean? It was bearable, but we just didn't... We had no penetration. Absolutely nothing.
And talking to one of the players that did come in, AJ, Dale Fry, what did you make of his performance?
Listen, for me, he should be in the team every week, and that's my own opinion. I thought he was excellent, Dale. What I love the most about Dale Fry is that when he gets the ball, he goes forward with it. He just goes through the middle. Do you know what I mean? We've seen it. I think it was in the first half and in the second half when he got it and he got tackled and he got it back. He got tackled again and he went out for a throw near us. And I thought that's just a young kid who was just, you know what I mean? He plays for the badge. And I'm all about the youth in the squad.
Yeah, he was doing that last season when he was in the side. He was carrying it out the defence, but he had a bad habit of turning round and still passing it back or passing it sideways. Now he's getting the ball. And he keeps going.
He did it at Leeds, didn't he? When he just drove forward. I think it was in the second half.
He's done that since like you say, the first day of the season, he's got the ball at his feet and he's run with it. Which, if he keeps going, don't have a problem with it. It's when he stops, turns around and passes it back to the other centre half.
Because he's got the capabilities of doing something that maybe Aidan Flint and Daniel Ayala can't do. And I think that's good. I mean, we've got some good comments coming in already from some of the viewers here. Thanks for watching, Dean Cheatwood. Alex White, who do you think is the best striker to play up top?
You've got to, like you say, I think he's the best striker at the club, Assombalonga. You know, you can't change that for me.
Dean, great question here. We're only playing at 70% at the minute and we're at the top. There's more to come from us, wait and see.
Yeah, I agree to that as well.
Yeah. I think maybe a few other teams could possibly say the same thing as well. I think this championship this year, it's much of a muchness, isn't it?
Villa, you know what I mean? They're just like, they've got a new manager now, Dean Smith, and they've got a good result Saturday.
Yeah.
So they're just lying there, and even down as far as Stoke, I wouldn't disregard Stoke.
No, there's a long way to go.
1 minute,
Super Simo, would you keep the same team that played Friday, AJ, or would you change it round?
Change it.
I think it'll be changes tomorrow morning.
You know, talking about my own preview earlier today, I said, you know, you play a team like Rotherham with no great disrespect to them. They aren't on a great form. You know.
Yeah.
And tomorrow night, how I see Rotherham come here is maybe he's parting the bus, maybe he's trying to. Listen, I mean, Rotherham come in tomorrow night and get a point. That's going to be
frustrate the crowd and everything. Yeah.
But for me, in terms of the question, I'd go 4-3-3 tomorrow, man. Just attack them straight from the off. And
I don't think you've got a cat and else chance, AJ.
What do you mean?
The manager, I don't think.
Oh no, of course not. If it was me, listen, I'd go down in Braithwaite. I'd go down in Braithwaite and someone will go through the middle, and I just go at them because at the end of the day, they're going to come here and park a bus. If you're going to attack them at home, well, why not? Because they're the sort of team that you need to be putting 3-4 pass and try and get a goal difference up, sort of thing, you know.
He was in the Gazette yesterday, Pulis, saying that like a lot of people were surprised Braithwaite didn't start Friday night, but I read a piece last night where he told Braithwaite to go clear his head over the weekend because he's a valuable part of the team for this week. Yeah. Is that telling us Braithwaite's coming in? But if he does, I wouldn't change nothing from Friday night.
Who do you drop from that team?
He can only drop Besic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I can't.
He's
not going to drop his love child Downing because he absolutely loves him. Yeah. You know what I mean? All he does every week is rave about him. So. Yeah. Nice problems to have, James.
Of course it is, yeah. You'd rather that than thinking, who can we fill the team with, because we're not doing well at all. Just going back to like Friday night, and you've just said about Mo Besic, he was the centre figure in the second half of that game, wasn't he? Smart finish for the first goal, took that really well. I mean, that was a good move involving Downing and Howson as well, wasn't it?
That came from Assombalonga's persistence as well. He wore him, you know, he chased that ball down, the ball ended up with Downing in the back heel to Howson. Yeah. And then that reverse pass, and Besic done the rest.
And then he kept his head for the second goal as well, because it would have been quite easy for him to have just gone ahead. Had a shot missed, but he kept his head, looked around, saw Britt, who managed to keep on side, thankfully. And put it in for his 5th goal of the season, which isn't a bad return, really,
and
is
50, it? What was it,
50 championship goals. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so after that, we had a few more opportunities. I think Besic had 1 or 2 more chances after that.
Besic had another run-on goal where he had, I don't know, I was out on the left of him, but Assombalonga was in a good position again on the right, and he decided to take the shot on, but the keeper made a decent save, you know what I mean?
And then you got what you knew was going to happen. Adam Reach comes in with another trademark fantastic finish, and that gives us a nervy finish, doesn't it?
It was a good finish, I say, you know. I think Guesty and AJT just literally left. And as the free kick come in, I looked to my left and I thought, oh man, the boys are in now, because obviously I was going to say, oh, this goes in here, because this is
what made it more special for him, it was his other foot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you could see him adjusting his feet as the ball was coming over. He could have took it on the left and went that way. But
it was a good hit, it was a good hit.
Yeah, it shows technically he's a very good player, isn't he?
Definitely.
I'm good we sold him. I really am. And obviously we were talking the way down about Adam Reach and about how good we are, that Boro let him go so young.
Yeah. I think that the difficulty is, at the time he left, I think we were probably well stocked in certain areas of the team, and he obviously had Albert Adoma here then and other people, and he maybe thought his place in the first team was maybe not as easy to get in, whereas now I think he would probably get into our side no bother now.
When you look at the left, like you say, Joe Bennett, left back, we let him go, and Reach. And they both,
young lads, decent footballers.
They both, like you say, everyone's raving about Reach at the moment. And Joe Bennett does a good job at Cardiff.
It happens, doesn't it? You know, sometimes players move on and they do well at other clubs. He's not the first and he won't be the last. No. So obviously, after you've gone outside the ground, you missed that amazing goal line scramble. with almost the very last kick, scrum, field play, whatever you want to call it at the end of the game. I mean, I must admit, when I watched it and the ball got through the front post, you were just expecting the net to bulge.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't expecting to see Adam Clayton's backside go through the back of the net. Like that. He was pushing everyone forward.
As soon as I went up for a corner and I looked at the guy next to me and I said to him, I said, what's doing get a point here? And as soon as he flicked it on, and I heard the roar just hitting my hands, and I looked up and I seen the referee giving his hands all over, and I thought, and then obviously luckily for us,
I'd love to know what he give a free kick for. Like,
I have no idea. I was trying to work it out myself.
Yeah, because I mean the thing is, when you watch it back, Adam Clayton obviously gets in at the end of it, but Danny Ayala
just lays right across the goal line.
More or less does, doesn't he? And he's like stops the bloke scoring. I don't see a foul, but he more or less blocks the ball and blocks the man coming. It's like a human wall, isn't he? Unbelievable commitment, if nothing else, by the lads, wasn't it?
Well, it shows it's there.
Absolutely.
They're doing it for the cause, and you know,
definitely.
so brilliant.
No, definitely.
What I just say about Besic, I mentioned it last night about Besic. His performance Friday night, I'm not saying he's anywhere near as good as David Beckham, but that type of performance Friday night was a type of performance where someone just takes the game by the scruff of the neck and takes everyone with him. He seemed to lift everyone's game. Because the first half, we were heavy on the right-hand side, and whatever Downing and Howson were trying to do, we had Shotton in there, we had Besic in there, and it was getting all complicated. Do you know what I mean? But then Besic just got the game by the scruff of the neck. And
well, I think Tony Pulis has come out with an interesting comment today, saying that Mo Besic is the best player in the Championship. He's the best. Now that's some statement to make when you think of some of the players at other clubs. Like
I said it. I said it, and I said when Besic is the way he is on that Friday night, you know, name me. I'm not saying it's just Boro, but name me a better midfielder than him when he was on form like he was on Friday. Because I'm struggling. Maybe he's that glitch from Leeds. Maybe
he's a good start.
Would you say his performance on Saturday was any better than what Mo Besic was on Friday? Do you know what I mean? And that's where I'm at with it. The
challenge for him now is to produce that more often, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's not just as a one-off like that, because he was exceptional in the second half on Friday night.
Like you say that. Like I've said, if he plays like that every game, we're in for a treat.
Absolutely.
You know we're going to have a great chance of going up if he does, and he'll make himself hard to drop. So that victory then took us to the top of the table, and if I'm being honest, I think you lads probably felt the same. You thought it wouldn't be for any more than 24 hours. You're thinking,
definitely.
I know the other teams had difficult fixtures on Saturday, but you didn't expect them all to slip up. What does that say about the Championship, AJ? That
just luck, innit? I mean, listen, it's just luck. You know, we got lucky in teams out. Shout out to Blackburn, because trust me, as soon as that second goal went in, I was with you lads, and I was jumping all over my house, you know. But my bet wasn't looking so good when I backed West Brom. They got beat when I backed Stoke, and they got beaten. But apart from that, listen, it was luck. When it was luck, and
it'll have done on a few people's coupons on Saturday. That won't it?
You know what I mean? Like you say, I think we were the only team out the top 7 to win. Over the weekend, which. Like you say, I wish it was the last game of the season.
No.
You know what I mean? But how important is that 3 points this weekend to them 3 points that these other teams have lost? How important is that going to be at the end of the season? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. You know.
Here's a good question here. Sol Starling. We should rest some players for the derby match. I think he's talking about tomorrow night resting some players. Is it though? Is that a dangerous thing to maybe rest a few players? And we're thinking, this is guaranteed. Whatever we put out to get 3 points tomorrow. Is there a danger we could slip up tomorrow doing that?
Like you say, that's very much in my thoughts, James, that he could, you know. Someone's mentioning there, is it a good game to bring Tav and Winger in that? I think we've just got to keep going and get some consistency at home. I think we've scored 5 or 7 goals at home in the league. It's either 5 or 7. We need to start entertaining the crowd.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So if we can perform like we did for half an hour against Sheffield Wednesday at home, you're going to send the Boro fans home happy. You know what I mean? So, you know, put Tav and Wing on the bench. You know, change the bench.
I think for home games, definitely. I think that's a good shout, that to have them on the bench.
It'd be great if we seen the same performance that we seen against Sheffield United at home, and it was in half an hour. It was 3-0, the game was done. And then maybe second half, I agree. Bring on Wing, bring on Tav, because even if you get another one, it ain't gonna hurt us, is it? Another goal, so.
NTN Ninja, thanks for watching, mate. What do you make of Clayton's defending at the end of the game in the scrum?
Great, wasn't it? It was just, do you know what it is? That's typical Adam Clayton, isn't it? You know what I mean? There's a little bit of banter in there with him, and overall, he's putting his body on the line. But it looked like he was just like, Look like he was just like preventing Ayala from falling over. It's like, stay.
If he doesn't go behind the line, we're not going to let it go. Let's just keep him on the other side of the line.
Flint was in there somewhere as well, wasn't he?
I think he piled on top, didn't he?
Mental, wasn't he?
Then Randall was on top. And then Clayton decided to go stick his little man bun into someone's backside. I don't know.
I tell you who I was impressed with on Friday night, especially considering I think his game before was probably his worst performance of the season. Ryan Shotton.
Yeah.
I thought he had a great game Friday night.
Yeah, really good. He's, like you say, he's gone through a sticky patch. And like you say, hopefully he's back to his best because he's been playing out of position since the day he came. I think he had one game at centre half and, well, let's not play him there anymore.
Yeah, it was at Brentford his first game, Get
him out early, quick. Get him out, get him back where he come from. Yeah. But, well, you know, he's not doing a bad job at full-back.
No, not at all. And another thing from the game on Friday, much was made by Sky during the game and then after the game about Danny Ayala's challenge on Stephen Fletcher. I don't know if you lads can recall, it was on the touchline and they were making out that he'd like elbowed him in the face.
I heard about that, but I don't remember that.
Did you make anything of it at the time in the ground? No. Did anybody sort of make
a
fuss over it?
Nobody in this. There was never no response from the Sheffield Wednesday fans.
And that suggests, because I mean, it was right in front of him, it was on the touchline, so if they're not getting up and saying anything.
He's a bit of a liability. I mean, I remember you saying the other day, it was at Hull when he gave away the penalty, you said, he does it every week, it was always coming. And at times I often think to myself, do you know what? I would rather have Flying than Ayala, just for that little bit of safety at the back. Because
but even with that, Ayala is a loose cannon.
Yeah, he is.
And I said to Rob, it's going to happen in a big game.
Yeah, when it matters.
And we could be winning 1-0 against West Brom at the Hawthorns. Yeah. And he'll do something like that, do something silly.
That's a good point.
And you know what I mean?
It's always in the back of your mind, and officials watch games, don't they? They all watch games, and they'll see what's happening. And I think that's a good point, that, Tony, definitely. After the game, very honest interview, as always, with Tony Pulis, where he blamed himself in part for that loss against Nottingham Forest, where he said that he trained the players too hard after the Ipswich game. We played away at Ipswich on the Tuesday, and he felt as though he trained them too hard on the training pitch before the Forest game.
On the Saturday.
And that left some of the performance out there, and they were a little bit short, which...
I heard that, I say a few people told us, and maybe he's talking the truth, isn't he? Because say against Forest, we weren't half the body.
But if he's still putting them through the paces, how fit are they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And if they're tired playing against Forest, I think he might be just protecting them a bit there, because if they're not up to full fitness now, and they're still having to put a shift in on the training ground, do you know what I mean? Yeah. You know,
still only early doors in the season, isn't it? It's still like
true,
a lot of...
But I thought that's what pre-season was for, to get them conditioned.
Well, they're meant to be as fit as ever after that training.
Running up mountains,
biking it and all that.
Yeah.
In Austria,
I think the song belonged is still out of breath.
Dean Cheatwood, just looking ahead to tomorrow night's game against Rotherham, we still can't underestimate any team in this league.
Absolutely not.
3 points are important. Totally agree with you there,
we've done it this season, haven't we? Underestimating teams, and we've been, you've been showing up, and I do agree with the whole swapping the team tomorrow. It's it's every single game as it comes, isn't it? As I say, and
I mean, you want to make changes. Sometimes you think, freshen it up a little bit, but then you also want to build up a little bit of momentum with those players. And if you know those lads are playing, they're putting performances in, they're going to get a game next week, and they know they're not in fear of losing the places, but because they're performing, you also reward good performances. You don't want people thinking, "Oh, I'm on edge because I might lose my place."
Like like Dale. Dale could go missing tomorrow for the. You know, he could play Braithwaite and just go 4 at the back.
Yeah, he could.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So,
and that'd be harsh on the because he put in a great performance there on Friday.
He always does for me though.
He rarely lets us down, does he?
Excellent.
So we're all Boro fans, and because Dale's a local lad, this isn't sentiment. This is because he's a good centre half.
Yeah, he's quality.
He's as good as any centre half in that league. It's not just because he's a Boro lad. It's because he is one of the best centre halves in the league.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Not out of centre.
I think that's a good shout.
He's class, Dale. Yeah, min player.
I mean, I know people are getting in touch with us about formations and stuff like that. I think we look quite well balanced with what we set up with on Friday night. Now, whether that's a thing just for away games, I don't know. But the back 5 or 3 centre backs, your 2 wing backs, Clayton, House and Besic, I don't see how you can drop any of them after that performance. So would you make any changes then tomorrow? Would you bring anybody in? Braithwaite's the obvious one for people to say bring him in, but at whose expense would you bring him in?
Like you say, we destroyed Sheffield Wednesday with a similar system. When Sheffield United when they came to the Riverside, 3 goals in no time. That's a few games now where we've scored 2 or 3 goals in a burst in a 10-15 minute spell. You know, if we could do that every game.
Yeah. Do you think it's almost in a case when you get to that we then shut up shop sort of thing, like thinking, right, that's it now, we're going to settle for that, we almost declare it 2 or 3 and...
Alan Pardew was on the Goals on Sunday yesterday and he was talking about Klopp, Pep and Mourinho. Like, if City get 4-0 up, they want to go for 5. Liverpool want to go for 5. If Mourinho gets 3-0 up, he shuts up shop. And I think Pulis is similar to Mourinho. When once his team get 3-0 up, there's no need to go pressing for any more goals. You know what I mean? I think that's why, you know, we aren't actually battering teams. Pulis will get what he needs and then
get out there, get the job done.
Let's manage the game and get it done.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, Boro lads. Yeah, he's going that 5-3-2 all day long, lads, he says. A few interesting stats that came up after the game on Friday. Boro have not lost a championship match since March 2015, away to Nottingham Forest when taking a lead, and that's 68 matches. And the other thing is, Tony Pulis has never lost 2 games in a row as Boro manager yet.
And out of them 68 matches, I think we've won 63 games.
Yeah, it's an amazing amount.
It's absolutely astounding. And what was that about Pulis?
He's never lost 2 matches in a row as Boro manager yet. So I mean, if that continues for the rest of this season, we're not going to be a million miles away, are we, mate? No.
Brilliant.
So, like we said there, that was Friday, Sheffield Wednesday. Follow this up now with 2 games at home at the Riverside this week. Rotherham the first visitors tomorrow. It's a dangerous one, isn't it? Like I said, we've talked about what the lineup may well be. Do you think it will be then 5 at the back, 3 centre halves, or do you think he might be tempted to drop one of the centre halves?
I think he might be tempted to drop one of the centre halves just to make room for Braithwaite and drop down and back into the midfield and put Braithwaite up alongside Sombalonga, because on Friday we had Downing, you know, the next furthest forward.
Do you think I know what you've said, and I agree with what you've said about Stewie Downing, but do you think he might think the temptation's there to pull him out a little bit because he maybe sees Saturday and Derby as the bigger test and he wants him in that game, and he thinks he could maybe rest Stewie tomorrow night and play Braithwaite instead?
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem if he does, you know what I mean? Because obviously Stewie's not no young pup anymore. So it wouldn't do him any harm. But what's more important? You know what I mean? It's 3 points.
It's 3 points. It's the same 3 points tomorrow as it is against Derby. You're right, mate. Yeah, and I mean Rotherham, they've just come back up the championship. A bit of a yo-yo team the last few years, and they're always one of the favourites to go down when they come up the championship, which is understandable. I mean, the budget they'll have will be dwarfed by almost every club in the championship.
They haven't put the momentum like Sheffield United did last season. They haven't took the momentum of promotion into the championship, and you know they're stuck down there with all Ipswich and...
Well, I don't mean to worry you Boro fans, but Rotherham, they've played 6 away games this season. They've lost all 6. They're coming to us tomorrow night. So...
You never ever want
I just want to get it in me.
You never ever want to know.
What was it to say? Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So you know what could happen. But like I say, they've lost 6 games.
Forward hasn't scored for 30 games.
Yeah. I mean, again, Boro lad, making a lot of sense there. We need to make Friday's victory count for something by getting 3 points. So you've got to back it up,
game, especially when you win a away game. You've got to take advantage with your own game.
Yeah.
But if we get, like you say, Rotherham, Derby, if we get 4 points,
that's good. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
7 points from 12. You can't. You know, it's promotion.
Yeah. I mean, this season, I think last year Wolves got about 97, 98 points, something like that. They won the league with last season. I don't think anyone in this league is going to get anywhere near that this year, are they?
No.
I actually think even 90 points. I think 90 points will win the league this year.
Yeah. Was it somewhat similar to that time? What did we go up with?
We went up with 86. We went up 86 with Karanga. We went up with 86. So I think this year, if you get 90, that'll win you the league. And I think probably an 86, 85, 86 might get you second spot, because it's like we're saying there, the consistency of teams in this league this year was shown on Saturday by what they do.
Well, you look at Birmingham City, they've only lost 2 games. They haven't been beat since we beat them, I don't think.
Yeah.
They haven't been beat since the 22nd of August.
Yeah. And yet they're still about 14th in the table.
Yeah. So it's quite tight, you know.
Yeah.
So it'll be tight all the way, I think, unless someone does go on a mad run and pull away, and then you'll sort of see a big difference there.
Do you know what might be the key to that as well, is what business teams do in the transfer window in January? Because I think at the minute, squads are all looking pretty similar. I would say, in my opinion, there's 1 or 2 teams who've got a better squad than us, maybe. But there's not a great deal of difference between the teams. So I think it's a lot about who's got the money to spend and what players they bring in January, won't it? That'll be a big...
we must have a big, massive war chest still sitting there after the sales in the summer.
Yeah, because I don't think a great deal of money... We don't know the whole ins and outs, but it doesn't seem as though there was a great deal of money in comparison to other clubs who've spent at the Boro.
Can I just touch on that? Them three, the big three that left, Gibson, Bamford and Traore, I was sat thinking it hasn't really worked for any of them at the moment, has it? Do you know what I mean? Like you say, we're into October and Traore still hasn't broke into the Wolves Fest team.
No, it's little glimpses, but he's...
Bamford's injured and Gibbo's injured.
Is Gibbo injured? Because he's only played
He's been suspended, injured.
Well, apparently he was injured when he trained a full week last week, but then he put on his Twitter Friday night, apparently he's going to be cheering the Boro on. I don't think that was very nice on the party.
I think with Gibson, he's only gone there because of the Europa League.
Premier League.
Obviously, they've took a dive early. And I think he's surplus of requirements there myself.
Looks like Burnley could come down.
Do you know what I think over the years, if you look back, there's not many players that have been at the Boro and left the Boro that have gone on to great things. The obvious ones, such as like Souness, Pallister, but a lot of players who Boro fans have devastated to see move on. Often have gone to other clubs. It's just not worked out for them.
Went to Atletico.
Went to Atletico, got a really bad injury, and he ended up coming back another 2 times, didn't he? Yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't know why that is, but it just seems to be something that happens. And like you say, there was a lot of Boro fans, and understandably so, were disappointed and upset to see some of those players leave in the summer. But look where we are on the table. We're top of the league at the minute.
We're better off than what we were with
as a team, we look very good at the minute, Jack Hunter, thanks for watching. Jack, good point here. No team has been impressive, not yet anyway, in this league is so open. Can't disagree with that.
No. I think Leeds and West Brom in spells have been the most...
They've been very impressive, like you say, in spells in matches. That's a good point.
West Brom's team to watch. Like, I think West Brom's team's unreal. And
when it clicks.
You know, I was looking at Dwight Gale, and I just forget any time that guy's lethal, isn't he?
Yeah, but like you say, going to Wigan and even drawing a blank at Wigan, and the drew a blank here. You know what I mean? So they can be stopped.
Would you be open to this? I don't think Wolves would be, but Dean Cheatwood's asked, would it be great to get Adama back on loan in January? What do you reckon to that?
I don't know, for me.
I think it'd bring a different dimension to what he was when he was first here.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be all give him the ball, give him the ball, give him the ball. I think it'd be something different. So if it was a possibility, you couldn't turn it down, could you?
No. You don't think it'd upset the balance of the team and the squad as it is now if he came back?
No, because I think it'd be used differently, James.
Right, yeah, good point, So then the weekend brings us on, which for me is like the acid test for me in Derby County coming here. They beat Sheffield United on Saturday, look quite impressive. They've quietly moved up the table in 5th spot now. Got a lot of good young players, got like Tom Lawrence, Harry Wilson, Mason Mount. A lot of lads coming from loans from Premier League clubs. And then you've got experienced players like Scott Carson, Tom Huddleston, Richard Keogh, David Nugent. It's a good mix. It's a good team. Former Boro target Martin Waghorn, he'll be back here on Saturday. And for me, it's got the feeling of a similar type of game to the Forest match a couple of weeks ago.
It's got that feel,
And you know what happened there, and I'm just thinking, this is the test for us. If we're the real deal this year, we've got to do something on Saturday. What do we have to do on Saturday, Toy, that's different to what we did against Forest?
Well, we have to, like Joe Lolly, we just give him a free rein.
Yeah.
He should have been, like you say, we left Clayton out that day. Clayton coming back into the squad off a suspension. Clayton hadn't been dropped.
Yeah.
He was coming back after we'd beat Ipswich 2-0, so he was left out.
Yeah.
So, like, they have 3 players similar to Lolly. Have you, like, the kid from Chelsea?
Yeah, Mount. Yeah,
Lawrence.
Yeah.
And the Welsh kid.
Yeah, Harry Wilson.
Yeah, so they do have some flair and a lot of movement in their midfield.
So what do you have to do to counteract that? What do we have to do?
Well, he's got Howson, he has Clayton, and he has Besic. Howson and Besic can defend as good as what they can attack. You know what I mean? So if we that kid who scored the winning goal, who they got from Peterborough.
Yeah, Marriott. Yeah, he scored a lot of goals in the lower leagues. It was a tidy finish, wasn't it?
He's going to pull out centre halves all over the place. You know what I mean? But we're a big physical side,
and I think that's the point.
They're weak. They're not weak, but they're young. They're inexperienced. Huddleston will sit there for a bit of guidance, but we're a big, strong physical team.
I think that's the key to it, Toy. I think we've got to get in their faces
totally
and be very physical and almost try and bully them. To be honest, haven't we? That's what we've got to do.
Absolutely, but like I say, I agree with everything Guesty said. Yeah, you know, Derby are a team, especially a season with a lot of flair, with a lot of pace.
Yeah.
You know, like, I have to agree with what he said, mate. I think, you know, it's just.
No.
I think Derby will be up there come May, but I think it's just, Borough got to turn up. We just got the same again. We've got to be tight in the midfield, best of Jowson and then Clayton, and just see it.
Maybe we should match them, and if we can go 4 in the midfield on Saturday.
It'd be interesting to see how we set up. Yeah.
Sometimes you do get a bit overrun with just the 3, so.
I dare say they'll be very much the same, Derby. They'll be seeing. I mean, they're on a run of fixtures here. They've got Sheffield United at home with a 1 on Saturday. They're at West Brom on Wednesday night. Yeah. They're at our place Saturday, and then they've got Chelsea in the League Cup next midweek. Big run of fixtures, big games. How do these young lads respond to that? They either take on the challenge, which they have done so far, or will they crumble against like maybe a physical barrage, which I think we've got to deliver on Saturday.
It's kind of one of them things, are them young lads when they come here, are they going to be looking past Boro to Chelsea?
Maybe.
Stamford Bridge.
Yeah. Big game, yeah.
Because, they're going to be thinking, it's Boro, and then forget about, what I mean? It's that sort of thing of, let's all up, but they're all focused on Chelsea, because then you never know, down here could be a different game for Boro. Boro could walk through and 3-0, or it could be a totally different game, so
Here's a good one, Taylor James. Is it just me who thinks Downing is one of the most underrated players in the Championship?
Yeah, I like Downing.
I think it's just you, mate, because he's absolutely fantastic.
He does have his critics, though, doesn't he, Tony?
Yeah. What's our cameraman's title again? What is he? I can't remember what his title was, but he sent us a thing yesterday about the stats, which I don't like, about Downing having the most crosses. He puts he runs the most yardage and all this, you know what I mean? So Downing for me,
Downing's class.
He's one of our own, and he's top
Downing's class, isn't he? And I think Downing's one of the reasons why Borough are top of the league at the minute.
I think it's a fair point.
Even when he walked off the pitch and he done that, I thought he should have been going like that.
I think it's always a fair point whenever you play the opposition. After the game, the manager or whoever gets interviewed, they always seem to mention Stuart Downing. And it can't be a coincidence that all these people keep mentioning about his influence in the game and stuff like that.
I think someone on Sky compared him to Ryan Giggs Friday night, am I right?
Yes.
Well, you know what I mean? You can't get a better compliment than that, can you?
No, not at all. So, we've got these 2 games coming up. Just before we leave the Derby game on Saturday, what do you make of the job that Frank Lampard's done? It's his first managerial job. How do you think he's done so far, Tony?
Like you say, he's in a good position at the moment, you know what I mean? But we've been touching on it. The Championship hasn't settled down yet. No. He's had some good wins, which Saturday night was a good win.
Won at Man United in the Cup, didn't they?
Won at Man United in the Cup. So the likes of Lampard and Gerrard, we lose too many of these type of players to punditry now, where they go work on TV for the easy life.
Exactly.
And these are the type of players who should be running teams.
Yeah.
You know, in the 70s and the 80s, as you know, James, the likes of Kenny Dalglish and people like that went from playing into management, and it doesn't happen anymore. We've lost the likes of Rio Ferdinand, Beckham, Neville's, Carragher's. You know, they're just so prominent on the TV, but they should be working in football. They shouldn't be messing about with the screen.
That's it. We had our show last week about managers, Borough managers, and obviously for a lot of us, Brian Robson.
Yeah,
what an influence he was on our football club. And it might not have worked out for him later years, but he transformed our club along with Steve Gibson. Did that, and yet, like you say, now there's so many people. It's great to see the likes of Lampard, Gerrard stepping up to the plate and saying, "Look, I'm not bothered. I might get some abuse. I might get some stick. Financially, I don't need these jobs, but I want to test myself and see what I'm made of." And
a lot of them can't be pestered doing these coaching badges, which they all need now. You know, I remember listening to what's he called, Gray, who used to play for Sunderland.
Michael Gray,
listening to him saying that he walked in to do his first one. And he said after an hour, he said, I just walked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's all right having all this stuff about theory and this, that and the other, but if you've played the game week in, week out, had a long career, you know what you need to do, and I'm sure you would set up a coaching drill if you've played the game.
Southgate became manager, was he really the manager because he didn't have his badges and things like that?
No.
It's absolutely a joke, man.
And I don't say they learn on the job, because the manager that Gareth Southgate is now isn't the manager he was at the Borough, but it's down to experience, but he also had a lot of knowledge. In the game, you get that from playing the game, don't you, mate?
But Frank Lampard, I think he's doing a great job.
Borough lad, again, our physicality is starting to make a real difference, and will do so as the season goes on. I think that's a fair point, with obviously pitches might start getting a bit heavier as we go through the season now. And
we need to defend corners a lot better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're definitely still struggling with balls coming in.
Which
the
is
box
a surprise, isn't it?
with
When
a
you think about what we've got in our team in terms of like the strength and the height in there, that we're struggling to defend set
corner
pieces.
alone, the corner alone, last minute.
And anything we can face up to anything. There's nothing getting through us. But
set pieces, isn't it?
You know, set pieces.
Free kicks into the box and you know, different sort of thing.
Yeah, there's some big news, big breaking news here. The first round of the FA Cup is being drawn tonight. There's a big team, meant to be a big team, called Sunderland in it. They've got Port Vale. Well done, lads. You might get a good crowd for that. Yeah, that's fantastic news. Enjoy your first round of the FA Cup.
Who's that, brother?
Gillingham,
Gillingham Hartlepool, But that's it. That's what you get.
That's an alright tie for them, that as well.
But yeah,
how did Gateshead get on? Did they progress?
They won at Dunstan, so they'll be in the draw tonight. So it's a shame they didn't get Sunderland. That'd have been their big local derby this year, wouldn't it? Sunderland Gateshead, the old Metro Centre derby, would have been fantastic. But yeah, not to worry. Yeah, it would have been all right, wouldn't it? So back to the Boro. We've got 2 home games this week: Rotherham Derby. Predictions, lads. Points, scores, however you want to do it.
Yeah, do you want to go first, mate?
I'll go first.
Go on, mate.
Rotherham 2-0.
That's a good shout.
Derby 2-0, 6 points, top of the league. Fantastic. Top of the league still Saturday night.
Excellent. I like the sound of that.
Rotherham should do them 4-0, no problem. Sam Longer hat-trick, Adam Clayton scores with the back of his head. Derby Saturday, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Boro. Top of the league. Farmers all around, mate.
Happy days. I fancy 2-0 tomorrow night against Rotherham. I think Saturday's going to be really, really tight. It wouldn't surprise me if that was maybe a draw Saturday, 1 each. I think it's going to be really tight, and I think it might be a draw. Gateshead have got Rochdale away.
Nice, all right at Rochdale.
Yeah, there's decent chippy just outside the ground. You'll be all right there, then that's okay.
Class Rochdale.
Yeah, so lads, I think time's caught up with us for this evening. That's it for this week, Boro fans. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us, lads. Enjoyed the show, enjoyed the chat again, lads, as always. Thank you for contributing and watching, Boro fans out there. Remember to like and subscribe to us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Check out all the previews before the 2 home games this week with Foxy. Catch up with the guys at the Riverside before and after the games. Get yourselves involved, Boro fans out there, for all the interviews. Hopefully we're celebrating 2 victories and we're still top of the league. Until next week. At least we're going to be top of the league until tomorrow, and hopefully by this time next week. Up the Boro, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Up the Boro. Top of the league. Rob, top of the league still. He won't say it.